Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. An absolute bloodbath of a game that blew my mind. Minnesota smacked Denver at home, going up 2-0. We were able to essentially see the difference in defensive game plans, defensive styles, defensive intensity, literally from the first quarter, the first 5 minutes. We saw that from the beginning. We're going to take a look at what specifically happened, why Denver struggled so much, why the Timberwolves thrived, and potentially whether Denver can adjust and what they can do. What one key adjustment they can do is to hopefully get them back in the series. Let's go. The first thing is they went to this Nikola Jokic post up early and often, which I absolutely like. And the Timberwolves did the exact same thing the Lakers did, which they sent help from essentially the nearest player. And so the Nuggets kind of did a couple of different things, but for the most part, they essentially used this player to cut. At least that's what they did at the beginning, and they kind of interchanged midway through. But this player would cut to the middle. Now, the issue with this player cutting to the middle is the Timberwolves' whole strategy was we're going to provide aggressive help and say that no one other than Jokic can make this touch pass. Okay? And we're going to say we're going to put long arms, which they have long arms and athletic bodies, in the way and force either the referees to make a call or somebody to make a difficult layup going downhill. And for the most part, they were able to do it, and the refs didn't call very many touch fouls, essentially, and so they played great defense through that. And frankly, what I think Denver needs to do in these post-ups is the right thing to do is to have Michael Porter be the one here because he's your best shooter, quickest release, highest end point. And so when Jokic sees the double, he is able to kick it out to Michael Porter. However, the one thing, another great thing that the Timberwolves do is that when they close out to the shooters, essentially Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, you say, we are not going to let you shoot from the perimeter. We're going to force you to make difficult decisions. Okay, so we're going to close out aggressively, run you off the line, and say, drive. Go ahead. We have help defenders waiting. We're going to force you to either make a very difficult shot at the rim or make a pass. Neither things that Michael Porter Jr.'s strong suit are. His shooting is definitely his strong point. And similar concept. Again, we're going to see post up. We're going to see cut to the middle. I would rather have a shooter here and have someone cut from this side because it's much harder for the defense to see because their eyes are all facing this way so they can see when Aaron Gordon cuts. If it's this player, like the wing player is cutting, it's much harder for this defender to see because he's looking at the ball so he doesn't see the back cut. So I don't like it coming from this player in particular, but that might be my particular coaching style. Okay, so we see the cut happens. Again, we got help on the inside. Okay, we're going to say, yeah, if you want to force this pass and force it through long arms, which first off, it's a very difficult pass because you got four long arms right up there, great active hands. So that's a difficult pass. Jokic still finds a way to make the correct pass, the read right here, and he puts it there. And technically, this is the correct pass out to Michael Porter Jr. But the issue is the Timberwolves are rotating so well, they're being aggressive. Anthony Edwards, probably their quote unquote laziest defender of these five, still closes out pretty aggressively and forces Michael Porter Jr. to relocate once, which is just going to decrease the percentage on his shot like 5 to 6%, make it that much harder, that much less likely that it's going to go in. Then we're going to contrast this to from what we saw in Denver on defense. So Denver did a much better job of loading up to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, I think, had a moderate game. He still scored quite a few points, but didn't shoot it particularly well. I think they loaded out very well. However, if you can't handle simple adjustments from other teammates, then you're really going to struggle. This is simply Kyle Anderson setting a screen because Jokic is the one guarding him, and what? We're just not going to guard Cat? I get it. Aaron Gordon got caught in the screen, but Jokic has got to communicate. Michael Porter Jr.'s got to recognize the situation and rotate out. We're just going to leave open threes to good three-point shooters? Like, that's not going to win ball games. And another example of, I think, a silly mistake on defense. Okay, we have the ball screen set with Jokic, so Jokic is the one up on the ball, creates a little bit of an issue. Jamal Murray shows help, which is good, but then when he closes out, what does he do? He jumps. Man, you can jump if there's like 2 seconds on the shot clock here, but if there's 7 seconds on the shot clock, and you know this defender is probably a better driver than he is shooter, especially with his size, if you're going to let Cat go downhill like this, like Jokic doesn't have time to get back in front, Michael Porter Jr. isn't rotating, you're giving them free, easy layups, and that frankly could have been an and one as well. Like, you cannot leave your feet in this situation that is going to give up easy shots for the Timberwolves. And same thing. Okay, we see Edwards backing down. We see aggressive help. I love Aaron Gordon. You got to show help there. I 100% agree. Right? And then Aaron Gordon does a good job closing out. Jokic is showing a little bit of help. However, what happens? As soon as this ball gets kicked to Naz Reid, he's not thinking about driving. He's not thinking about passing. If he gets an open look, he is going to shoot it. And that creates strain on the defense. Every single thing that we saw with the Nuggets was they hesitated or they moved the ball or they drove. They didn't shoot it initially. Okay? The fact that you're able to or not able to shoot it immediately off the catch is what puts strain on the defense. So while I get that Denver was upset with the foul calls, like they wanted more foul calls, I get it 100%. You got to adjust to what the game is being played. Like you can't just go in there into the paint every single time and expect a foul call to bail you out. So in conclusion, going into game 3, like Denver, you got to address this with the coaching staff aggressively. What you essentially have to do is you have to say whoever we're going to have with Jokic on this post up right here, whenever he posts up, we are going to have a shooter or whatever your go-to play is, whatever it is. You got to have somebody that is ready to catch and shoot immediately. Okay, so if they can afford to help down like this much distance off Jamal Murray and this much distance off the shooter in the corner, and you can't get a clean look at a three, you're going to lose the series. You're going to lose the series 4-1 or 4-0. The second thing that I think Denver can do is instead of Jokic posting up right here, like on the wing-ish right here, if he gets further down over here, that makes it so much more distance for Cat to come. So because this further player will have to cover more distance, Jokic A has more time to see the cut, and B makes it, if you have Michael Porter Jr. be the player right here, he has so much more space to work with because this player has to cover a farther distance to get to Jokic. So if Jokic is down here on the block, I think it gives Denver more opportunities in game 3. That being said, the reality of the situation is down 2-0 going to Minnesota. Denver's in a tough situation. They got to make some big adjustments and they got to make them immediately because you have to at least win one of these. Frankly, 2 of these would really be ideal. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like and subscribe. But most importantly, have a blessed rest of your day.